I was turning red in the face, so.
Her. The lick bomb.
The lick bomb. You can't!
Okay, seriously, so this video has now turned into part 3, and I don't want another sad little picture as the introduction, so here's the introduction for the 3rd video. Also, I'm partially doing this because there was a few little things that we forgot to mention in the other ones. I mean, there's a lot of things, like Vicki, for instance, forgot to mention double copies of books that she owns. She owns more than one copy of Peter Pan. She owns, I think it's Secret Garden. Yes, she owns more than one copy of Secret Garden. She has these, if you can see them. Cool little, what do you call them? Picture book things? Versions of, which is why she has double copies of a couple of them. And so, yeah. And she has more than one copy of the Pink and Gray because she has the manga version as well as the original novel version of it. And which means I do too, because I also have the 2 of them. But see, another one that I have a double copy of, I'm doing this by myself, so I'm using forward-facing camera, and there you go. It's not very steady. I have double copies of this one here because I was in Japan and I bought the Japanese version of that because I couldn't tell what it was, but I was like, wait, this has to do with the Turks and like their whole story and stuff. It's called Final Fantasy VII, The Kids Are Alright, a Turk's Side Story. And then for the longest time I had it and couldn't tell for sure what it was, and then that day was exciting when I found it in English. I was like, yes! I finally got to read it, and I absolutely love that book. It's one of the only books that I've ever, like, I didn't even know that books existed that went from first person and third person viewpoints in the same book. And, like, whoever translated that one did an amazing job because it was really well done. But I own 2 of that copy. I also, War and Peace. I accidentally bought the first part of it in Japanese because I was at a Japanese, in Edmonton, there's a Japanese society thing, and I was there for one of their festival thingamabobers, and they were selling stuff. And honestly, I saw the Tolstoy, and I thought that was the title of the book because it's written bigger than the title of the book, so I thought it was maybe like a kid's, I don't know. I love old books, so I got it. And then after I got it, I realized that it was part 1 of War and Peace by Tolstoy. And so I have 2 copies of that one-ish. The book Another, I have 3 copies because I have the original novel, the manga version, and part 1 of this size of it. And I've got 2 copies of the Another S. And because those are all, I kind of halfway forgot about them because they're ones that I have in English as well as Japanese. Now I forget if there was another one. Oh, Rustbuster. That's another one I own in the Japanese and English version of Rustbuster. I did also want to mention, most people, I don't think, know that Wizard of Oz is actually the first book in a series. It's not a single book. There is also, I myself own Marvelous Land of Oz, and I also own Ozma of Oz. And I don't remember how many books there are total in that series, but I think there's like 20-something at least in that series. It is actually a series of kids' books to do with the Land of Oz and different characters and stuff that's in there. So you should go read it, because I remember reading more of them to my younger siblings. And it was actually, they're good books. What else was I going to mention? Vicky's going to leave a comment in the comments below, because when she was talking about this for a book, and she mentioned more of the ones that she hates the series, she did not mean hates as in it's a bad story. She actually loves that book, and she loves the characters, and she wanted to explain more about what she meant by hates it. Because she didn't mean hates as in it was a bad story or there was anything terrible in it. It was more to do with the question that's coming up in this. We talk about books that are hard to read because of the way they weren't written well. And there's something about that story that she doesn't think was written well, and therefore it kind of destroyed it for her. Therefore, she hates the series because of that. So if she still wants to leave a comment in the comment, look out for that comment below and she'll explain what she meant by that. So there you go. Enjoy part 3. This time you'll get an outro because I swear, ow! I swear this is the last one. Hi! Enjoy. Do you own a dual language book? As in one that has more than one language in it. So, like, even if it's only, like, people keep talking in that other language, it would have to be a significant chunk that they do that in. But it's written with the other language words. So if you don't know the other language, you would not...
significant chunks, but they do write some with the other language. Bourne himself knows a couple different languages. Oh, well, actually, this would also be the closest I am.
That one is The Hunt for Red October.
Mm-hmm. There's snippets in
Ew,
it,
dog, stinkiness. Snippets of what two languages?
Russian or German?
I
don't remember. This one's a couple of different languages.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I own Demian because there was like a hype about it, and I was trying to figure out what the hype was, and I'm like, I don't believe there's a hype in this. So did it get lost in translation somehow? This is German. This is English. And I also own Narrow Road to Oku. It's a poetry book, but it's got the original, like, Japanese, and it's also got the English. And I have a book downstairs on my desk that's for learning Korean. It's got the Korean and English.
Moving on. Question 22. Do you own a book you wish was a movie, TV show?
Probably. Now, what were they?
Oh boy.
Hey, if they actually, this wouldn't be able to be just a movie. They'd have to come out with a series.
Oh, I said movie or TV show.
Yeah, they would have to come out with a TV show. This would be awesome because bolos do not get enough attention.
That's because they're only big with the science fiction, and I don't know if it
Anybody
continued.
who knows what this is knows what I'm talking about. And if you don't, you should read it because it's a very awesome book. Our older brother that recommended it.
John Ringo and Linda Evans.
Huh?
John Ringo and Linda Evans.
The Enchanted Forest Chronicles.
True that.
True that. Book 1, Book 2, Book 3, Book 4. This would be awesome as a little mini-series because, like, they are epic books. I don't care if they're children's books, even as an adult. They are awesome, and they're, like, really interesting, and they're hilarious, and they're very cool characters, and it would be really cool to see, like, magic like this isn't seen in movies and stuff anymore. They're getting all into the hardcore kind of how it's done, like Harry Potter. I'm like, why can't you just go back to the innocent old stuff like this? So there you go, The Enchanted Forest Chronicles. I wish those were made into would be made into a couple of movies or a short series or something.
Question 23. Do you own a book you wish wasn't made into a movie or TV show? And she hasn't even watched it.
I vaguely remember clips because I think I looked it up, but from the sounds of it, like, Vicki is like worst nightmare movie because it's like horrible and whatever, and like
because I watched it when I was way too young.
From the sounds of it, like, but I read the book, and it's a little bit odd because these are literally rabbits and they've got a human thought process. But apart from that, it's actually a pretty good book. But the movie apparently doesn't do it justice at all because apparently it's like, what are you doing putting this in front of your kids? So there's at least one. I also wish that Lord of the Rings hadn't been made into a movie because they started off good and then they went, oh, and The Hobbit.
Animorphs, really? They didn't even finish with that one.
Have you seen that blasted show? For
yes,
one
I've
thing,
seen part of them. But are you kidding? What about like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings?
Harry Potter wasn't so bad. Lord of the Rings I can still kind of sort of forgive. That one, that was terrible. It was crappy. It was horrible. And they could have done a better job for when they actually
low budget. Maybe they had no money.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
And I love this series.
That's probably why nobody even knows that they did it.
They did? I can't even remember what year the stupid series came out in. But
oh yeah, I remember because I remember seeing part of it.
That one.
Okay.
They could have done a much better
This is your segment. I'll let you have that.
The yurt pool.
I don't remember what it looks like, but
describes it in the blasted book. It's a huge cavern. In their show, it's like know that you're like, it was terrible.
Ouch.
It
Okay.
was horrible.
Do you own a book with food in the title? Here we go again with chocolate.
Technically, it's the only one I think I know. That's Kitchen Princess, it's not food.
No. I thought of Kitchen Princess and I'm like, bah! The title is not actually food.
No, it's not. So technically, yeah, I do.
But that's the only one. What about Fruits Basket?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Dude. Fruits Basket. Okay.
So I own two. There you go.
Okay.
Do you own a book with food in the title?
Crap, why did I put that as the duet?
Because, yeah, you own the same thing I do.
I don't want chocolate. Which one was it that you said?
Behind the Fairy.
Oh, Fruits Basket. Yes, I do own Fruits Basket.
Yeah.
But like I say, I was thinking Kitchen Princess. I forgot about that one. So I'm wondering if I have anything else to have in there. Actually, I was curious. I wanted to look. Okay. Next
Well
one.
then, question number 25. A book with a color in its title.
Okay, everybody looking at my shelf. Can you spot one before me?
No, because they can't see your shelf properly.
Well, that's maybe a good thing. Well, I don't have food in the title, but I have food utensils in the title. Saucepan journey. Anyway, I'm supposed to be looking for colors. Chocolate factory? No, chocolate's not really a color. It's chocolate brown, but it doesn't say chocolate brown.
That would be food in the title,
Hey!
dude.
Pudding head. Pudding? Does that count? Pudding head?
We're looking for colors.
What is it?
Violet.
Violet Keystone. What about the silver tree? Because I was zoomed in and could see it.
Oh, that's true. The silver tree. Or the silver boy, too.
Yep.
But what? Assuming I thought of this one first.
Well, yeah. It's legit.
Technically, the Crimson Crown as well. 'Cause
Yes,
is
crimson.
also the
Yes.
title, or a color.
Do I? Do I not? Do I? Do I not? With the color in the title? Maybe I don't. I thought he did. Ow. Pink and gray. You're welcome. Why did I go down? No,
I don't know. I
I
can't
didn't
see it, though.
Pink and gray. She showed you what the manga looks like, but let's look. With Shige as the author. And yeah, it was turned into a manga and I think into a show.
Mm-hmm.
The influence of someone that's already famous.
Number 26. Book title with initials the same as the author's initials. What?
I was just curious if that's possible. That's the only reason I put it.
I highly doubt it.
But apparently not. Not that I'm seeing now.
No, I don't think so.
That'd be really funny if we did, but
Something tells me there might be one out there.
probably.
If you know, put it in the comments below.
You fully fledged YouTuber, you. Okay, next question. I guess.
Moving on. Question number 27. How many classics do you own?
See, this was her question. I didn't want her to ask that because, okay, let me see.
I don't know how new those are. Yeah, actually, that is it.
Well, fine then.
Oh.
Yeah, I
What
was
did I
thinking
say,
of those
28?
two. I think.
29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Even though those don't look much like classics. Those are still classics. I guess.
Yeah, that's physical book. Because
Newer.
aren't there like two in each
Newer
of those ones?
classics. Yeah. There's 8 books and all. They're
Yeah.
the newer
Okay.
newer types of classics, but they're classics.
Over 50, if I'm counting correctly. Over 50.
What book was the hardest to read emotionally speaking?
I
You don't
one
cry over
right
books,
off
but
the
if
bat
you did.
for your shelf. Actually. Like, literally. I literally just thought right off the bat one from your shelf. Where is it? Is it this one? Give me that book. Yeah.
You read that one?
Yes, I read that one. I read that one forever ago.
Breaking the Silence by Diane Chamberlain. I remember that one was really emotional, but I don't remember why, so I can't even use it. So there you go. You can use it. Even though it's my book.
Book 9, the last one in the Nightmare Inspector. Both times I read it, I cried and threw it across the room.
Off my own shelf. I think it was that one.
Those books are pretty emotional.
This was the first one I thought of. Yeah, but this was the most emotional because this is the one where she passed away.
Oh, spoilers.
Yeah, I didn't say who it was. Now I have to try to shove this back onto your darn squashed shelf.
Question 29. What book was the hardest to read in terms of how well it was written? Or how well it wasn't written?
How well it wasn't written. Well, that one was written quite well.
I mean in terms of how well it wasn't written. In other words, it was very poorly written, so you're like, oh boy. Cat, you were being really weird.
Memory Wakes. I don't remember who the author was. Sorry to the author, but yeah, Memory Wakes was a little hard.
Because it was just poorly written?
Well, it wasn't necessarily bad, but there wasn't exactly any depth to it. I only read the 2 out of 3 books. Gorgeous artwork, though. Definitely.
Do stop it.
Go check out her artwork. Gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. But
so you remember Sashi, but you don't remember what.
the book in and of itself. No, I can picture it right now, but I can't remember the name of the author. She was originally an artist, I think.
Perhaps why it wasn't written the best.
Yeah, that's like her debut. So it's not very necessarily fair, but...
Pause. I'm going to comment here, adding this in, because I mentioned these books and then I cut that part out, but I kind of wanted to mention them because these things are like fun to me. It's an interesting concept. The problem with them was, when we're talking about how well books were written, these 3, Unleashed by Sigmund Bauer, Exposed by Judith Graves, and Burned by Natasha Dean, they're teen books. They're made for teenagers. They weren't, as far as I know, they aren't supposed to be anything big and fantastical. Oh, now I forget what order I had them in. But the super interesting concept about these 3 books is that they're written by 3 completely different authors, but they're about the same 3 characters interacting with each other and the story that involves the same 3 characters. So it's like a super interesting concept having the 3 different authors write about the same character's story, but from each individual's viewpoint. Like one author wrote from that character's viewpoint, the other author from that one, etc. The reason why it's kind of sad and they're very much lacking to me is because they ended up with some repetition scenes, which of course is going to happen when you're writing the same story from numerous different people's viewpoints, but they were a little more repetitious than they had to be, and I guess maybe, like Vicky's made the comment before about how teenage books kind of sort of feel hollow because they could have gone deeper and yet they don't because for some reason they think they have to dumb it down for teenagers or something. So like that story could have been a lot bigger and a lot more involved, a lot more cool, like the way they wrote it, and they didn't. So it's like dumbed down to the level of a 13-year-old story when the characters are older than that, and yeah, it kind of felt lacking because of that. So it was hard to read that book because it could have been written better and it wasn't, so it's kind of a little bit disappointing.
Question 30 here. Which book made you shiver using 2 lines or less?
Shiver for like any reason?
Mm-hmm. 2 lines or less. Like it literally had to be 1 or 2 lines. Why?
I can't say it. Spoilers.
Uh-huh. And what's it called? David Weber,
end?
what's it called?
Near the middle of the book. The
Throne of
series
Stars?
itself is called Empire of Man. I believe it's the series itself. This is the bind up.
It's usually a spoiler alert that makes you shiver.
This is the last
but...
2.
So then did it make you shiver in a good way or a bad way?
In a super sad way.
Ooh.
I knew it was coming, but at the same time, it's like I want to throttle you. I can't believe you did that. How could you do that?
This was one of them. Body of Christopher Creed by Carol Plumbucci. What was that one I was thinking? Why can I literally picture the scene itself, but I can't think of what book it was in? How does that work?
That's the one I was thinking of, I think. She's Good at Eating the Sheep by Carol Palmucci. That one made me shiver in one line or letter, 1 or 2 lines or something. I think it was as little as 1 or 2 lines. I can literally picture the scene, but I can't picture the book of one other one. Just the way she wrote it. It was like 1.5 lines or something like that. I was like, oh! I can't remember what it was. Because she was like literally looking ahead of her, and then she looked out the window and looked back, and the way she described the woman that was suddenly sitting there was like, but I can't remember what book it was. That's the last question. Any other comments?
It's interesting. I only had one I couldn't answer.
Which one was that? Was the initials?
Yeah.
Well, you kind of did. You don't think so? Because I can pause for long stretch. I mean, I have a video where editor, so I can edit out you looking for half an hour. This thing is only 36.5 minutes long.
I don't have to look for half an hour. I'm pretty sure I don't. Often
Dog!
Don't do that.
Shh.
Anyway, so next time when we make a question tag, it's going to be for videos. DVDs that we own. But this is not our only shelf. There's also
Not too far over because that's CDs.
no, just the 2 shelves. So you'll have to nag us. Back.
Say like thank you
In
for
the
watching,
future.
etc.
Thank you for watching.
Hope you
We'll
enjoyed
see
it.
you next